You already know the vibes. It's your boy NAGA right here. I just wanted to come through because I had a past life thought. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember something that happened when I was like 4. You know what I'm saying? I was young as shit, probably 3. But I'm gonna tell y'all this story real quick. So when I was little, right? And I've been feeling the vibes like, what I'm saying, attacks been put on my childhood and my entire life on me, right? And then people would take certain understandings and say this is superstition or this is this or this is that, right? But before my mother was Jehovah Witness, you know what I'm saying, she was I think it was a Baptist church we used to go to. I'm not sure, but it was like on the corner of 125th and St. Nick Projects, right? Not saying, I'm sorry, it was on the corner of 152nd in Amsterdam. You know what I'm saying? That's where we used to live at, 152nd in New York. So we was walking. It was me. I think I was holding my aunt Julie hand. And my aunt Julie, like before she passed away, like she was real mean to me for some reason. Like she was about to she was mean to me before she passed away, and I didn't know why she was so mad or so angry at me. Like we used to be close, or I thought we was close, right? So I remember something that stood out to me today. It just stood out to me so much because currently, if you've been watching my videos, I'm homeless. I literally sleep on the streets. I have nobody to help me out. None of my friends that claim they was my friends, are around now. And I'm meeting a whole bunch of new people that got better qualities than the people that I claim was my friends, you know what I'm saying, or family. So ultimately, um, I'm gonna lay that all in at the end, but I'm just gonna get to the story right away. So I remember it was snowing hard in New York, like it was a lot of snow, and I think it was two actual rituals that was put on me to put me in this situation or to prepare me for this situation. Yeah, like before I even knew any of this stuff was going on. So what happened was he was walking down the street, right, and it was snowing hard. And I remember clear as day, it was a bum laying in the street, and he half his body was in a box, and the other half of his body, his legs was covered by the snow. And I remember I was holding my Aunt Julie hand, and we was walking, and we got to the bum dude, and she said, "Step over him." And I said, "I don't want to." And she said, "Step over him." So she grabbed my arm up for me to step over him, and I remember I was forced to step over him. And I remember looking back at this guy laying on the ground. I was like 3 or 4 years old. I remember looking back at this guy, and the thought I had in my head was I didn't want to be like him. I don't know why I thought that as a kid, like as that young. I don't know why I had that thought in my head, but I did, and I remember that I had it in my head, and I remember saying to one of them, I didn't want to step over him, and I was made to step over him. And now I'm here in the streets just like he was, sleeping under a box, half my body in, half my body out. Weird, right? Real weird shit. And I remember as I got older, we used to go to the laundromat, and the laundromat had the blowers that blew the heat out the back from the laundry, right? So I would always go to those things and stand under them because I like the feel of the hot air coming out of the joint, right? You know what I'm saying? Out of the dryers and shit. So I go in the back and stand. And my mother's like, um, don't stand under that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't stand under that. And I remember saying to her, well, if I ever end up in the street, at least I have free heat. Weird shit. I had to be about 10 or 11 at that time. You know what I'm saying? So those are two events that took place that prior to where I'm at now, you know what I'm saying, was very significant. But keep in mind, if you're listening to me saying I was forced to step over the one guy that was laying on the street, and then I was told um, something, and it was the way my mom said it. You know what I'm saying? It was weird. It was like I can see, I can see it, but I can't remember verbatim the energy, but I can remember the energy. Like I can't remember how I heard it, but I can remember how it felt. You know what I'm saying? So it was just weird energy, and that same thing with the dryer. happened again, like as I got older. I probably was like 14, 15 or whatever. And I remember my mother saying something to me of that value about being homeless and the dry or whatever. I remember also as I got older, I probably was like 16, 17. I was telling my step cousin, my stepfather's niece kids, I was telling them I feel like I'd never forget this shit. I think I was telling Ty, I was like, yo, I think people are planning to have me homeless out here. Ain't nothing gonna make me homeless. And I think at the time, me and Ty was kind of close. You know what I'm saying? So I remember him saying, well, you ain't gotta be homeless as long as you know what I'm saying, put that grind on. And I was like, I'm gonna make sure nothing ever makes me fall. So it was one of the reasons why I used to go so hard, because I used to always feel it. I would feel it down in my bones that the intention of people, or they knew who I was way before I was, or before I knew who I was, right? So just these particular energies that exist, you know what I'm saying, and me having these retrospects of remembrance, it just put a value to certain things. I'm not blaming nothing, because I can't blame myself because I didn't put myself out here, but ultimately attacks and spiritual aspects are real, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're so real that most people don't even pay attention to their past lives or their growth to see different energies that was impressed on, certain people despite the situation. So I just remember those things apartheid to the situation that I'm in now. So it's just real deep, you know what I'm saying? Just something to think about, and I don't know why these thoughts actually popped up in my head. It was like certain little nuances would make me remember some of these circumstances, right? And I was just thinking about that shit today. Like, it came across my head, like, yo, you remember this shit right here? Look where you at now. That's how it popped in my head. It was like my higher self was telling me this shit. It was like, yo, remember this? Now look where you at. You know what I'm saying? It was like something was trying to stop it from happening. The reason why I felt inside that I didn't want to step over the dude, right? But my energy be so like, I ain't really worried about shit. I'm so carefree about shit. And I always been like that, right? Today has been a weird day, you know what I'm saying? Like, really very, very weird day, you know what I'm saying? Like, my brother, my grandmother, before she died, I remember my mother, my uncle Junior owned a dance theater. He's in Black history. His name is Arthur Mitchell. He created the first black dance theater in Harlem. So my mother used to sew clothes there or whatever. And I remember we was up there, I think it was about the time when my great grandmother was about to pass away or whatever. Or maybe it was before, I think it was before that. Yeah, it was before that, because she was still living. So I was a little younger than 6 or 7, you know what I'm saying? I remember. My brother 4 years older than me, you know what I'm saying? We don't make me quote the actual date and time, you know what I'm saying? But I know I was young as shit. And my great grandmother was living and my grandmother was living. So I remember we had went to the dance theater to see my mom. I mean, they let us go out the house because it's right down the street. You know what I'm saying? As long as we hold hands, we could cross the street. So we got there. My mother was like, go home, get your clothes out the bag, and change your clothes. So we both went back to the house. My brother, being who he is, asshole energy since day one. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to race, leave me behind and shit. Because he's 4 years, supposed to be 4 years older than me or whatever. You know what I mean? And he wanted to leave me behind. We got there or whatever. So he went and started doing something else. I went straight to the suitcase like my mother told me and started getting my clothes out. He runs up to me and pushes me down on the ground. My grandmother sees this. As I'm getting my clothes out of the suitcase, he pushes me down on the ground. My grandmother sees this. This is my mother's mother. She sees him do this, and she jacks him up, and she slaps his ass from the bag into the china hutch. And she said, don't you ever in your life put your hands on him. Don't you ever in your life touch him like that. And my brother got mad. He looked at me. He was angry. He was pissed off. He went and got a knife. He was going to stab my grandmother, and all the whole family came down. They was trying to stop him. He was going to stab my grandmother. And it's the same energy that he had for my grandfather. He wanted to stab him too. Every time he got disciplined, he would try to black out, act like he was better than everybody else. And he didn't want to take discipline. He thought that the world revolved around him. He didn't want nobody else to have no attention. And ultimately, the nigga told me at the end of the day, he was jealous of me, right? So regardless of the fact, these particular negative energies has always been around my life. But me being a kid, I was so happy-go-lucky. I didn't look at it as something turmoil. I didn't look at it as something I need to worry about. You know what I'm saying? People would tell me, "Oh, that's just what y'all go through. That's just what it is." They would make excuses for him, right? So shit is just weird how it goes back so far. You know what I'm saying? To see how energies play out today, and then now that I'm in this situation, people are satisfied. Like they're literally satisfied that I have I can't get back to the things that I used to do. I can't get back to the things I created myself because of the way I would set myself up, because I have certain issues that normal people don't have. I got to move a different way. So I would set myself up to these ways. So therefore, if something happened, I had a safe net. I messed around and I trusted into people, you know what I'm saying, and believing that, all this shit it's just in my head. It's not true. And soon as I did that and I let go of what I held on to, what I felt, you know what I'm saying, I should have been protecting, this happened. This situation right here happened. And this is how I ended up out here. So, people, they don't like take responsibility or agree with things, you know what I'm saying? And the day has been real crazy. Yo. I was called a nigga today. You know what I'm saying? I was treated wrong, you know what I'm saying? So many ways. And I just kept smiling, kept smiling. A real good friend of mine that I met 10 years ago, we was in Camden, and these guys wanted to jump on him. It was probably like 4 or 5 guys. They was going to jump. It was a Spanish guy. I didn't even know him, but I got a good heart. So um, I walked up, like he was coming through the park. He ain't know nobody out there, but they was going to jump him, I guess rob him or whatever. And I was like, nah, that's my man. Y'all not putting your hands on him. I didn't know him, but that's what I told the dudes, right? And then the chick I was with, at the time, we picked him up and we took him home or whatever. And after that, me and the guy kind of got cool. I haven't seen him for like 10 years, literally. Like from this day, like 10 years. I'm 44 at the time. I was in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? He was in his early 20s, but now he's in his 30s. You know what I'm saying? So when I seen him, I'm like, yo. And he gave me some money and shit. He was like, I want to pay it back. I was like, man, you don't owe me nothing. I was like, yo, I was happy to do that. I'm actually happy to see you. I ain't seen you in years. And then we started talking and shit. And he was just like, yo, what you got going on? I'm like, man, I'm homeless, man. I'm out here, bro. Like, I don't need nothing from nobody. I'm going to make it. I'm going to get back on my feet. I'm not worried about that. I was done dirty. I was done wrong. People made excuses for the value. And I'm going to live with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not taking shit from nobody no more. It is what it is. So he was like, yo, bro, I'm going to help you. So I'm like, you ain't got to do that. He was like, nah, I can't see you like this. He's like, I know you always knew you was a classy dude, man, and you always had your shit together. I don't know how you got here. I don't know how it feels to be homeless, but I know that this ain't where you supposed to be. That shit made me cry, right? Because I don't got nobody to lean on, you know what I'm saying? Like as far as immediate, like right here, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't have nobody here to talk to love on me, you know what I'm saying? And whatever, like I want a woman, you know what I'm saying? Like I want a woman I can love on right now, you know what I'm saying? Like man, I'm a loving person. That's just who I am. I'm compassionate. I'm a heartful person. Like my heart, like that's just what I am. You know what I'm saying? I can't stop being loving. I just learned not to love people who don't love me. So now my cold turkey button is on red. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit on like instantly. Like I ain't got no time for this bullshit. So even today, this guy, he stole my comb and shit, but he kind of off a little bit. And he flipping out like, this ain't your comb. And he fucked around and told me, fuck you. And he's like, fuck you. And then he was like, this ain't your shit. I don't fucking need you. That's what he said like that. And I was like, interesting, because you smoke my cigarettes. I bought you food. You know what I'm saying? I gave you half of my wings. Like, I do shit for you. I even kept a dude off his ass, you know what I'm saying, out here. He ain't appreciate shit. He can tell me he don't fucking need me, but he waiting to use my phone, right? So he was waiting to use my phone, but then while you talking all this shit, you talking about I don't need you. So he says after he talked all this shit, he says I got a high feeling that you're not gonna let me use your phone. I said, it ain't a high feeling, motherfucker, it's the facts. He gonna laugh. I'm like, nah, for real, I ain't fucking with you no more. You say whatever you want. I don't have to be belligerent and get upset by your actions. I'm just gonna tell you to your face, no, motherfucker. That's just what it is. You're gonna have to deal with that shit the way I don't give a fuck how you feel at the end of the day. I'm not giving your ass nothing. Don't ask me for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, man, I still care about you, man. It ain't like that. He fucked around and said, fuck you, nigga. And the guy that he called his friend was sitting right next to him, which is another black guy. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, fuck you, nigga. And I'm like, that's the dude who's telling me he cares about me. You heard what he said, right? The homeboy was like, yo, I'm gonna go ahead and go lay it down. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let it be. I was like, yeah, I think that's the plan right there. I'm gonna go ahead and lay it down too. So I grabbed my shit, you know what I'm saying, out of the closet of the little building or whatever. And I went ahead and I slid and left dude in front of the building. And thinking about all these things, like, yo, it's a lot of negative energy always being drawn to me, yo. Like, they always come around me because I'm a good dude, like, you know what I mean? And motherfuckers think I'm soft until I snap and slap the fuck out of somebody or break somebody's fucking jaw. Like, just because I'm nice don't mean I can't thump. I just don't choose to because I know I'll hurt somebody. And I've hurt people before with my hands, you know what I'm saying? I've hurt big motherfuckers who didn't think it can happen. Now I put motherfuckers in the hospital. Like, that's who I was when I was young, and people would see me do this. So motherfuckers really want me to be in that energy. They want me to be angry, upset, raging, hurt somebody, get in trouble, and then be gone. So they can be like, yes, finally, finally it happened. No, that's not what's going on. Okay, that's never what's going to be what's going on. I have so much self-control, and I talk to the guy like I'm talking to y'all right now in this type of voice the whole time. You know what I'm saying? He yelling and screaming and all that shit. I'm like, all that yelling and screaming shit don't mean nothing. You could talk all that shit, but keep your ass over there. You put your hands on me, it's gonna be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So he talked all the shit he want, but eventually, he's still begging for my fucking phone. I'm like, you gonna wait on that shit? Come on, man, I still love you. Nah. I'm good with that, brother. You feel me? Like, you deal with your shit how you deal with your shit. You know what I'm saying? And my energy started pulsing out. And he was like, you different. You're different. I was like, no, I'm not different. I'm not a fucking sucker to no one. If I give you love, you better appreciate that shit. Because when I take it back, it's not coming back no more. That's that. There's no second, third, and fourth chances. You're a grown ass fucking person. You better learn how to treat people. And if you don't, you lose me. Just like that. I'll give you the shirt off my fucking back. You know what I'm saying? And my Spanish friend that came through, he gave me this fly ass fucking hoodie, the Aku hoodie. You know what I'm saying? Some dope shit. He was like, yo, put this on right here, yo. He's like, yo, you gotta stay warm. I didn't even ask him. You know what I'm saying? But that was love. And I was sitting there thinking, I started crying when he came through. He's like, yo, don't cry, Papa. I was like, man, I can't help it. I was like, yo, you're not my family. His mom broke her arm yesterday or whatever. And he was like, yeah, bro. Um, my mom broke her arm and shit, but I still came to look out for you because I don't want to see you in a situation. He's supposed to be at the hospital with his peoples, but he took a few minutes out to come, look out for me, give me a couple dollars, you know what I'm saying, give me this sweater, and to chill me for a minute. Man, that shit made my day. Just to have somebody genuine around me, you know what I mean? And I pray to Divine all the time. I'm like, Divine, what is this? Because I'm not upset because I did this to myself. I'm upset because I didn't do it to myself, and it just bothers me that I'm out here and I literally am homeless. But I've accomplished so many things in my life, and the things I was setting up for myself, I wouldn't have been here if people just had to play their role correctly and do what they were supposed to do. So now you got all these conversations, all this rhetoric, and nobody wants to take responsibility for their actions. Just like the guy who called me a nigger earlier. After he said what he said, he started saying he didn't say it. He started saying he didn't say it. And then he started saying all types of shit like, uh don't this, don't. I'm like, yo, you need to practice what you fucking preach, man. You got personal issues you need to work out. Anyway, this whole thing that I'm talking about is showing y'all how far negative energy goes back, even when you're not aware of knowing that the negative energy is existing around you. Like, you might be a kid that had people that you cared about around you, but you didn't know that they were doing these things to you to have that energy in your frequency. Most people know what they do when they do it. They're just not going to tell you. And I remember before me and my aunt Julie actually went negative, or before she went negative about feeling how she felt about me or whatever, like, the last time I stayed at her house before that happened, she was trying to give me so much money. She was like, take this, take this, take this. It was like she realized something and she felt bad. She was sending me on the train by myself, and she was like, stay away from the bums. Don't go next to people who be in the street. She was so adamant about that. Like, it bothered her. Like, her conscience was eating her up. Or maybe she's seen where I'm at right now in some vision or something, or whatever they do. And it bothered her. So she tried to, like, make it better at that moment by giving me money. And the crazy thing was, I told my mom that she did that. And when I told my mom that she did that, my mom waited till I left the room to call her and say something to her. I don't know what she said to her, but I know after she said what she said, my Aunt Julie got different with me. And she started treating me like she hated me. And I would ask my mom, like, why Aunt Julie acting like that? What am I missing? And she would play oblivious. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. What happened? And she would just blow it off like she didn't know, when I knew she really knew. You know, the secrets that people have and the stories and things they did when they was young, they're not gonna tell you that they fucked your life up. They're not gonna tell you that they did shit to make themselves better. They're gonna tell you that they plot and plan and twist shit around. That's how the world is. Everywhere I go, I keep running into these fucking demons. But you know what? I got a plan, and my plan is coming together. And sooner or later, it ain't gonna be like this. NAGA.